What's going on, everybody? Ryan's Baseball Roundup here, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what's going with Juan Soto. Is he going to be traded by the deadline in the offseason? Who might he go to? Mets, Yankees, Giants, Cardinals? It's all up in the air. I'm going to be explaining this all in today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button if you enjoy this type of videos. Let's get straight into the video. So before we get into what's been going on recently with Juan Soto, I feel like this drama has started since the off season. So I'm just gonna give context on how this all started and how it's escalated. So first, going into this year, it's towards around spring training. The Nationals offered Juan Soto a contract for 13 years, 330 million. And the reason why you always see these type of contracts in baseball is because the team understands that these players are actually worth more than that, but since they've been loyal to the team, that the players might give them a hometown discount. Like, this is the type of contracts you've seen Wander Franco and Tatis sign with the Padres and Rays. It's still a lot of money. They just would probably get more money than they would probably get more money if they walked in free agency a couple years later. But the thing is, Juan Soto is different than those guys because Wander Franco, he's only 19, or 20, so he hasn't totally established himself in the big leagues yet. Tatis is the same age as Juan Soto, but Juan Soto has been in the big leagues way longer than Tatis. Juan Soto came into the big leagues at 19 years old, so he's already got a resume on his hands. He's a two-time All-Star, batting title, two-time Silver Slugger, so he's already got quite the resume, and so him and Scott Boras understand that they're worth more than that. So they of course decline because Juan Soto is definitely worth more than $30 million a year, even though it's over the course of 13 years. So for a while after that, nothing really happened. Towards the middle of the year, you hear all these rumors the Nationals might trade Juan Soto. Everyone's like, what's going on? And so then the Nationals VP president, I think Mike Rizzo, comes out and says the Nationals have no intentions of trading Juan Soto. And so then everyone's like, okay. And then the All-Star break comes around, and then the Nationals offer him an even bigger contract, 14 years, $440 million. Juan Soto declines it again, but it comes out because the Nationals leaked it. Juan Soto gets mad that the Nationals leaked it because this should have stayed in-house. This was never supposed to get leaked to the media or the public. Juan Soto doesn't like that they leaked it. The reason Juan Soto doesn't like that they leaked it is because most contract negotiations are supposed to be kept in-house. This is the same reason Aaron Judge didn't like it when the Yankees leaked that he rejected his contract extension before the year. Leaking it from the Nationals' perspective makes it look like Juan Soto is money hungry and all he cares about is the money, when really it's that he wants to be on a contending team and be able to push for a World Series. Don't get me wrong, he cares still about the money, he wants to get what he's worth, but it's mainly about having a competent team around him and having a chance to make it deep into the playoffs and get another World Series for him. And I think one of the reasons Juan Soto declined this second contract is because, the guys I named, Wander Franco, Tatis, those are two teams where, they're on the up and up. You have confidence that over the course of that 13-year, $14 million contracts, those guys are going to have a chance to contend for the World Series. When you look at what Juan Soto's been going on with the Nationals have made the playoffs in 2 years. They traded away all their guys last year, which showed that they're definitely in a rebuilding mode. Do you think Juan Soto wants to be there for 5 years where they don't make the playoffs? Juan Soto wants to win now. He's already won a World Series. He felt what that feeling was like. He wants to experience another playoff run. And right now, that's just not what the Nationals are doing. Right now, they're trying to rebuild again. And from the Nationals' perspective, they're just trying to lock up a generational talent in Juan Soto because they've already lost a lot of guys that are homegrown that they just weren't willing to spend the money on. The Nationals front office has been terrible at making decisions throughout the last couple of years. They lost Bryce Harper in free agency to the Phillies. They lost Rendon to the Angels. And then the one guy that they actually locked up in Steven Strasburg is maybe the worst contract in baseball. It's $245 million. He missed all of last year, came back in the middle of this year, pitched one inning, and now he's out for the year again. That's possibly the worst contract in baseball. So the Nationals front office is a mess, and they realize that even if they lock up Juan Soto for 14 years, if he's like the only bright spot on their team, at least that's going to sell them tickets, jerseys. It's going to bring people to the ballpark because a lot of bad teams, they don't even have like one guy who's like, okay, I'll show up to the game to watch him. But if the Nationals locked up Juan Soto for 13 or 14 years, he would be a guy that people would buy tickets to see, even if the Nationals stunk. Like a team like the Pirates or something, like they don't have like a superstar caliber player that like people go to see when they stink. But even now, people are going to see the Nationals just because of Juan Soto. He's that good. So Juan Soto declines the contract, and then after that, the Nationals pretty much get fed up with him, and they say that they're listening to trade offers, and all of this drama starts. People start making offers, and then like Juan Soto shows up to the All Star game, and we find out that later he went to the home run derby, and we find out that the Nationals didn't even fly out Juan Soto to the home run derby. And if you're not familiar with how it works, it's not like the owner necessarily has to fly them out to the All Star game or the home run derby, but it's just considered like a nice act of like thanks for like thank you for having a good first half. So I'm gonna reward you by flying you out there. Pretty much every owner does it. The only one who didn't do it besides the Nationals with Juan Soto was the A's with Paul Blackburn. And anytime you're mentioned in the same breath as the A's when it comes to like spending money or like doing something that costs money, you don't want to be mentioned in the same breath as the A's because the A's have a reputation for being the cheapest franchise in baseball. Juan Soto had to fly commercial, showed up at like 1:30 in the morning, and still won the home run derby, which is nuts. This shows me that their relationship is definitely like fractured, not seeing eye to eye. I definitely think Juan Soto is going to get traded at some point this year, whether it's the off season or by the trade deadline. I feel like with especially with Juan Soto's agent Scott Boras, the Nationals are in a tough spot with Juan Soto though, because they don't want to rush and take the first offer that they get offered. But if they wait too long, like if they wait until the off season, then Juan Soto has one less year under his contract, meaning that they won't get as much in return for Juan Soto. He knows how to get you paid. Like I mean, look at Bryce Harper. I'm pretty sure Bryce Harper was as a Scott Boras client, and he got Bryce Harper like the most money he could get with the Phillies. So now we're gonna break down if I think he'll be traded by the deadline or like what's going on with that. I don't know. It's still possible. I think that he'll most likely get traded in the off season, but I think that the top suitors right now is like the Mets, Cardinals, Giants, Yankees. And then it's also a matter of like just which team is going to be able to give up the most stuff because the Nationals are just going to want whoever can give up the most prospects, young talent. I feel like the Yankees or the Mets are the most likely to get him just because I feel like they'll throw whatever it takes at him because a lot of the reports I'm hearing are saying like the Mets and Yankees aren't willing to give up like their top prospects to get him. Which, like, why would you not give up Francisco Alvarez or Anthony Volpe or Oswald Peraza if you're the Mets or Yankees? It's Juan Soto. Like, I mean, you don't even know if those guys they're like top prospects. Don't get me wrong, but like, there's no way you anticipate them turning into like a superstar generational type talent like Juan Soto. But I feel like the team that has the best trade package is definitely the Cardinals. Even though it doesn't, I don't know if Juan Soto seems like a Cardinal to me. The Cardinals have already finessed two superstars in the past couple of years, getting Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and Juan Soto in the same lineup would be scary. The reason why I think the Cardinals have the best trade package to get Juan Soto is they have a mix of like prospects that are good and also like young talent that's already in MLB. Like they have Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Gorman, Dylan Carlson, Jack Flaherty, and then in the farm system they have Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, Matthew Liberatore. It would take probably all of those guys to just throw at the Nationals to have a shot at Juan Soto. But all the other teams that are like having trade offers, they only have like prospects in their organization. I mean, the Dodgers are the other team who has like actual major league talent that's pretty young. Like the Dodgers could throw Gavin Lux, Dustin May. They have like a mix of good prospects and also like good young talent on their team. Although it's kind of funny because outfield is not really what they need. Like obviously Juan Soto makes your team better at the end of the day, but they need like more pitching. Same with the Yankees. So it's like, I mean, there's teams that want Juan Soto, but it's not like it fits like their team needs. But I mean, if you have a chance to get a player as good as Juan Soto, you just take it, even if it like even if it doesn't fit your team needs. There's also a lot of rumors that the Nationals might try to get off some salary cap when they trade Juan Soto. Like they're probably going to deal Patrick Corbin in the deals to get off all of his salary cap, which would mean that whichever team would get Juan Soto would have to give up less. Because Patrick Corbin's salary, who the Nationals paid a lot, that's another one of their terrible front office moves. Pulls out a lot of teams for the Juan Soto sweepstakes because it has to be a contending team. Because Soto wouldn't want to get traded to a bad team because that would be like the Nationals all over again. Also, whoever is going to trade for him has to make sure that they can lock Juan Soto up to a long-term deal because Juan Soto becomes a free agent after 2 seasons, meaning that you wouldn't want to give up your whole prospect, your whole organization, your whole farm system. You wouldn't want to throw your whole farm system to give up Juan Soto only to have him for like 2 more years. That just wouldn't make sense. So you gotta like make sure with Juan Soto and Scott Boras that when you give up your whole farm system that you're gonna be able to lock him up to like a 13, 14 year deal. So it has to be a team who's contending. They have to have a lot of prospects and they have to have a lot of money to take on Patrick Corbin's salary most likely, and also sign Juan Soto to at least like like maybe a $500 million deal. So not only if this trade happens would it be the biggest trade in MLB history, probably in terms of prospects and MLB talent that would be going to the Nationals. The extension Juan Soto would sign with this team would be the biggest deal ever too. The other reason Juan Soto definitely doesn't want to stay with the Nationals is that there's all these rumors that the Nationals are considering selling the team. So the Nationals aren't competitive right now. Juan Soto's not sure if they're going to sell the team, like new ownership, how that's going to go, and they're not. They don't seem close to contending, and they have all these bad contracts. So that's the main reason he's not interested. But like other teams like the Mets and the Yankees and the Giants, they're only really throwing prospects because if you're the Giants, are you gonna give up like Logan Webb is their best young talent, but that's like pretty much the face of their franchise on the. If you give up Logan Webb for Juan Soto, what have you just done? Because I mean, you had good pitching and now you don't, but you have good hitting. So if I had to guess, I would say Juan Soto's probably gonna get traded in the off season into either like the Mets, Yankees, or Cardinals or something. So we'll see how it plays out, but he could get traded by the deadline, which is only in like a week and a half or something. But I'll keep you posted. So those were my thoughts on the Juan Soto situation. Hit the like button if you enjoy this type of videos. This has been Ryan's Baseball Roundup, and I'm out. Peace.